Picture a dark room, lit only by flickering candles. A massive map of Africa is spread across a grand table. Men in fine suits lean over it, arguing, laughing, and drawing sharp lines with rulers. In 1884, these powerful men gathered in Berlin, not to help Africa, but to carve her up for themselves. They called it a conference. History calls it the Scramble for Africa. By the late 1800s, Europe was hungry. A new industrial age demanded resources, and Africa was a treasure chest waiting to be unlocked. Gold from the Ashanti Kingdom, rubber from the dense Congo forests, spices, and vast fertile land, it was all there. Rivalries between Britain, France, Germany, and Belgium were heating up, threatening to boil over into war. So German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck stepped in. He invited representatives from 14 nations to Berlin with a clear goal: to set rules for the colonial game and prevent a European conflict over Africa. But there was one glaring omission from the guest list: Africa itself. Not a single king, chief, or leader from the continent was invited to decide its fate. On November 15, 1884, the conference began. The European powers sat around that table, a huge map of Africa unrolled before them. They debated borders, claimed rivers, and assigned mineral rights as if the continent were an empty, unclaimed wilderness. They completely ignored the millions of people, the ancient kingdoms, and the vibrant cultures that already called it home. The key players had their own secret ambitions. King Leopold II of Belgium had his greedy eyes fixed on the Congo. Britain dreamed of a colonial empire stretching from Cape to Cairo, connecting Egypt in the north to South Africa. France aimed to control West and North Africa, while latecomers like Germany and Portugal scrambled to grab what they could. With each stroke of a pen, lines drawn in a faraway European city began to slice through kingdoms, families, and tribes. Africa would never be the same again. When the Berlin Conference ended in 1885, Africa's future had been signed away without her consent. The final agreement, known as the Berlin Act, established a chilling new rule: effective occupation. To claim a piece of Africa, a European nation had to prove it could control the territory. This single rule unleashed a frantic rush. Soldiers, missionaries, and traders stormed the continent to plant their flags. These artificial borders were drawn with brutal indifference. They cut through ancient kingdoms like a knife, splitting the Yoruba people between what is now Nigeria and Benin, and scattering the Somali people across 5 different territories. Centuries of shared culture were ignored, replaced by lines on a map. By 1914, almost the entire continent was a checkerboard of European flags. Only Ethiopia and Liberia remained independent. What followed was a dark era of forced labor, heavy taxation, and land seizure. The exploitation was horrific. In the Congo, under King Leopold's private rule, millions perished while being forced to harvest rubber. But Africa did not suffer in silence. Brave leaders like Samurai Touré in West Africa, the warrior queen Ya Asantewa of the Ashanti, and Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia rose up and fought back. They took our gold, our land, and our peace, but they could never take our spirit. The story of Berlin is not just about how Africa was divided, it's about how Africa endured. Thanks for watching. If you want to uncover more hidden histories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories from our past.